Hi, this is Eternal King here bringing you another LOR video today. So I wanted to show off another one of the day one decks from the new expansion, and that is Sleepy Shurima. So Sleepy Shurima was basically kind of the first idea I thought for in terms of like a really good payoff for Lilia. In the sense that Lilia herself is not a very good payoff. When she levels, if you don't know what this card says, it says when I'm summoned or strike, create a dream-laden bow in hand. Sleep is basically the same as Hourglass. So if you're confused what sleep is Hourglass, but it's in Ionia. Basically creating a landmark that spits out that exact same unit once again, and then any of its summon effects are going to happen again. So the fact that this is a landmark that Sleep is creating, and the fact that that landmark is destroying or being destroyed in one turn countdown is very, very relevant for the next champion that you'll see in this deck. And then when she levels up, when you sleep another ally, immediately wake it up and grant it spirit. So it's just buffing the stats one by one once the spirit is activated. But again, her stats are a little awkward. The fact that she's coming out as a 3-2 with quick attack. When she levels up, she's a 4-3 with quick attack. So she's still getting killed by that 3 damage mark. It basically means that her play effect is kind of better than the other things she does. And that's okay. What you need for Lilia is a very good payoff. And in that case, we are running Ziggs. So we're running Ziggs as a 3 of. Basically, when Ziggs levels, every time you sleep something, he's going to be Mystic Shotting the enemy Nexus. So that's your payoff card. You have your value generator, which is your sleep generator in Lilia, and then you have your payoff card, which is your Ziggs. But yeah, this is a old school Ruinous Acolyte list, right? So you're running Construct of Desolation to pull you Ruinous Acolytes. Ruinous Acolytes destroy landmarks and get bigger. But more importantly, triggers the Ziggs. So every time you're destroying a landmark, you're Mystic Shotting face. Keep that in mind. Forsaken Bakai is just like an easy auto-include because it predicts at 1 mana as a 2-1. Everyone knows why this card is good because it draw fixes bad hands and increases the consistency and win rate of your decks at the 1 mana mark. Acolyte's Reliquary, again, gets you more Ruinous Acolytes and gives you some food for them to eat. Mr. Root, again, this is very quickly my favorite new Ionia card. The fact that it's a 1-2 with Spirit and it draws doesn't really matter. The point is that it is a summon effect. So basically, the combo for Mr. Root is Dewdrop Harvest. So Dewdrop Harvest coming down, summoning a 2-2, and then sleeping Mr. Root and essentially cycling itself. That's the combo there. As you play Mr. Root, he cycles. You play Dewdrop Harvest, you get the 2-2 out of it, and then you bounce the you resummon the Mr. Root, and now both of these cards are cycling. So that's a lot of cycle power in that combination there between Dewdrop Harvest and Mr. Root, and then you're essentially getting the 2-2, for free there. It's very good. Preservarium, obviously old school staple. Shurima card for card advantage. Short countdown, once again. Triggering the Ziggs, so very good. Rock Hopper being a 3-1 that creates a Roiling Sands, triggering the Ziggs. So you get that. It's very heavy in the 2 drops. Like, this is an aggressive deck. This is a very aggressive deck in terms of what it's trying to accomplish. Lilia comes down. It's a 3-2 with quick attack. Again, a very aggressive stat line in the 3 mana mark, giving you that sleep once again, which is just more bounces from Mr. Root. Unraveled Earth, it's more cycling power, but also giving you Challenger off the Roiling Sands. All of this is triggering the Ziggs. But we need another payoff as well for this much landmark destruction. So the other payoff is the old school Wastewalker tech. So this is the other big payoff card, is the fact that Wastewalker essentially has infinite scaling in a deck like this. So you have the Ruinous Acolytes, which are going to have infinite scaling in terms of how big they can get turn over turn over turn. You have the Ziggs, who has infinite scaling in terms of the number of times he can Mystic Shot face, and then you have Wastewalker, who has infinite scaling in terms of how big he gets. And yes, I have already tested the interaction between Sleep and Wastewalker, so if you sleep Wastewalker, it comes out bigger. I've already tested that for you. It does work, so that synergy is already there. Because it's just like Hourglass, so if Hourglass worked, I didn't see any reason why Sleep wouldn't work, and it does work. Wastewalker gets spat out bigger than he came in. The other payoff card, Desert Naturalist, old school, very easy to recommend this card. Just breaking a landmark, giving you a Grumpy Badger Bear, which is a 5-5, and then the 1 Rite of Negation. So that's all you need really for this deck to function is, the Ruinous Acolyte spam, the infinite draw cycling provided by this deck, the Ziggs, Mystic Shotting face over and over again, Sleep being converted into more cycles, also having the big waste walkers, and then summoning the 5/5s. Makes this deck very low to the ground, very aggressive, and not only that, it's a turbo level deck, which is kind of what I like. Because every time you're sleeping, that counts as one more landmark for Lilia to level. Every time you're playing Unraveled Earth, that counts as 2 more towards the Lilia level up. Every time you're playing Waste Walker, Desert Naturalist, Rock Hopper counts as 2 towards Lilia. All this stuff, essentially, that you're playing out, whether it is the landmark spam, the cycle spam, the creature spam, all this stuff helps turbo level Lilia. So she turbo levels on this shell, Ziggs turbo levels on this shell. It's low to the ground, it's aggressive, it has big units with infinite scaling. It basically does everything you want in an Eternal shell. Because keep in mind, Eternal is basically MTG, is basically an extended card format that you would find in MTG. So the more efficient your deck is, the more low to the ground it is, the better it's going to be against unprepared opponents who have not teched into those specific matchups. So yeah, Sleepy Shurima. Again, I'm going to say that this, expansion is a sleeper, pun intended, because everything about this expansion, people looked at it and they're like, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is terrible. Oh, Mr. Root, bad card. Dewdrop Harvest, bad card. Dewdrop Harvest is insane. Dewdrop Harvest is like the best landmark that has ever been printed in Ionia. The fact that it just summons a 2/2 on the turn that you play it, and then you can wait as long as you want to sleep something. That's the way that these countdown these new story cards work in LOR, is that you choose when to activate it. So you always activate the 2/2 on turn 1, but the second part of that, the sleep an ally, like you can sleep something turn 5, you can sleep something turn 6. It doesn't matter when you sleep something. It's up to you. So in this case, you're sleeping something, when you want, basically when you want to buff up the Waste Walker, right? So you can basically the destruction of the Dewdrop Harvest is happening when the Waste Walker is already on board, and then the sleep effect is happening, and then buffing the Waste Walker again. It's like +2 on Waste Walker. So yeah, he's going to be massive. He's going to demand a hard vengeance, and I've already seen that where opponents are like hard spending 6 mana to kill a Waste Walker. That's 1 less vengeance for the Ziggs, right? And that's 1 less vengeance for the Lilia. So very, very strong. Very strong. Everything about this deck is hyper aggressive and powerful, and again, also card advantage. Just like so much card advantage. Dewdrop Harvest, sleeping, Mr. Root. Mr. Root's getting played. The Preservarium is getting played. The Unraveled Earth is getting is cycle power. Like, this is an aggro deck that almost doesn't, run out of cards as fast as an aggro deck should. With a curve that ends up on mana 4. There's a ton of draw in here. Yeah, no, love this deck. I don't expect this one to be as popular as the other list that I provided, which is Ionia Demacia, but I think Ionia Shurima with Lilia is another. It's just as powerful on paper, but it does different things, but it is just as powerful. Pretty excited about this new expansion and the types of decks it's opening up. I've never been an Ionia player before. I've kind of hated Ionia traditionally. This is the kind of Ionia I like, where like, yes, you can play Rise and just, draw out the game forever. But now you also have like Lilia, and you can play like on curve decks, and it's actually good. And it's not a Hiri. God, I hate a Hiri. It's not a 2-mana champion. It's a little more skill intensive in terms of the play patterns. This is Eternal King, signing out.